In this video, released by the U.S. Coast Guard, a narco submarine is shown being intercepted. A Marine patrol aircraft was patrolling near the Pacific coast when the crew spotted a shadow of a submarine in the water. They immediately reported it to the U.S. Coast Guard, and within minutes, 2 boats and a helicopter arrived at the scene. The video shows that the Coast Guard crew had gotten very close to the submarine. However, the smugglers inside were probably unaware of this. Eventually, the officers forcefully opened the submarine's hatch and arrested the smugglers inside. This narco submarine contained 3,000 kilograms of cocaine that was being silently transported from South America to the USA. It was one of the 200 narco submarines that authorities have captured between 2006 and 2025. But these are only the ones that were caught. Every year, thousands of submarines smuggle illegal drugs into the USA, and no one gets a whiff of it. How do narco submarines work? Why are they difficult to catch? And finally, where are they built? Welcome back to Basic Money Explained videos. Drug smuggling is an activity for the prevention of which every country in every era has created different institutions and tried new ways to catch drug smugglers. But despite all these efforts, we see that it has not been possible to stop it 100% in many countries like the USA and Europe yet. The biggest reason for this is that large drug cartels always try to stay 2 steps ahead of anti-drug forces. South America has been the stronghold of the illegal drug mafia from the beginning, and the reason for this is its unique climate, which is perfect for the cultivation of the coca plant. Currently, the largest cocaine production in the world happens in Colombia. 90% of the cocaine seized in the USA is said to be from Colombia. Next comes Peru and then Bolivia. These 3 are South American countries and are considered the Golden Triangle or the Indian Triangle of the cocaine industry. 99.5% of all the cocaine in the world is produced in these 3 countries alone. Now, different methods have been used to transport these drugs from South America to Central America and Europe. In the 1960s, when restrictions were less, people used to carry it in their luggage on normal passenger planes to Central America and Europe. Then, as restrictions increased, the use of foreign ships began. But because profit margins in smuggling are very high, especially if the product is illegal, the drug mafia also started using small Cessna planes in the 1980s. These planes were flown from Colombia and landed on small islands in the Caribbean like the Bahamas or on secret airstrips built in the jungles of Central America. This was the era when Pablo Escobar's Medellin cartel controlled 80% of the world's cocaine market. Shrewd partners like Carlos later had turned islands like the Bahamas into smuggling hubs where these small planes would land. But gradually, as radar systems improved, law enforcement authorities started catching these small planes as well. Then cartels started using speedboats. These weren't ordinary speedboats, but were built with specially modified engines. These drug-laden boats were raced to Caribbean islands. By the time Coast Guard spotted them, these boats would have done their job and left. But the USA and its allies increased maritime patrols in the Caribbean and the Pacific coast and installed advanced radar systems, making it easier to track these modified speedboats too. By the 1990s, the aerial and sea routes for large drug shipments to the USA were closed, and this pressure gave birth to engineering innovation. At that time, they needed a technology that could deceive radars, remain hidden from maritime patrols, and most importantly, transport as many drugs as possible. Cartels decided to use engineering to build submarines. submarines made of fiberglass which caused radars to filter out their signature. Where boats had limited capacity, these submarines could transport 5 to 10 tons of drugs. These submarines, called Narco Submarines, were so successful that for many years, anti-narcotics police had no idea which route drugs were coming into Central America by. The trend that started in the 1990s was exposed when the first Narco Submarine was captured in 2006, about 16 years later. About 160 kilometers off the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, a U.S. Coast Guard crew was out on aerial patrol when they spotted 3 plastic pipes sticking out of the water. It was a 50-foot-long narco submarine made of wood and fiberglass. The U.S. Coast Guard said they had heard about it, but were seeing it for the first time. But where do the drug mafia's engineers build these submarines? What facilities do they have inside? How much distance can they travel? And why do smugglers themselves sink such expensive submarines in the ocean? Let me tell you here that a total of 200 submarines have been captured from 2006 until now, but authorities believe many times more have remained undetected. There are a total of 4 types of narco submarines. The first is the low-profile vessel, also called LPV. This is not actually a fully submerged submarine. Most of its part remains underwater, and a small top part is above water. It is about 14 meters long, and its color matches the sea, which also makes it anti-detection. In terms of capacity, it can transport 7.7 tons of cocaine. Authorities say it often operates only on short routes from South America to Central America. The second narco submarine is the transatlantic semi-sub. This is similar to the first LPV model, but more modern and quite large, over 20 meters long. It has 3 compartments, one for the engine, one for the crew, and one for cargo. It has a total fuel capacity of up to 20,000 liters, which allows it to easily travel long sea journeys, such as from Brazil to Europe. These submarines don't have GPS. Instead, the smugglers inside change direction with the help of a compass. The third is the snorkel sub. This model is similar to an actual submarine, which can submerge completely underwater. It is 24 meters long with a fiberglass body. When it is in action, only the snorkel pipe remains above the water surface, providing air for the diesel engine and oxygen for the crew. It has balanced tanks that take it deeper into the water when danger is sensed. To date, no such submarine has been captured in the ocean. And the fourth is the most cunning, the electronic submarine. This is the most advanced and new era type of narco submarine. It is 12 meters long with a fiberglass body and no crew inside. It doesn't have a diesel engine either. Instead, batteries are used to power just 2 electric motors. Being electric makes it very silent, and even sonar scanners cannot detect it. Its range is only 60 kilometers, therefore it is towed by a rope from a large ship. When Coast Guards approach, this rope is unhooked and it submerges and hides underwater. Authorities say this submarine has never been captured in action so far. Only its models have been found in the jungle, which is how information about it was obtained. These submarines have a small washroom for the crew, a place to sleep, and energy bars for food and drink. Now let's find out where these advanced submarines are built. The construction of these submarines mostly takes place in shipyards hidden in the dense jungles of South America. These areas are so remote that reaching them is nearly impossible, and due to dense jungles, these shipyards cannot even be seen with the help of satellites, drones, or helicopters. According to an estimate, it costs around $1 million to build one submarine, but this cost is insignificant compared to 10 tons of cocaine, which is worth up to $400 million.
That's why they are built for one-time use only. As soon as the mission is complete, its valve is opened, and it is left to sink in the ocean so that it never reaches the Coast Guards, and the builders cannot be traced. Even if a crew is inside and they find out that Coast Guards are approaching, they would immediately open the emergency valve and deliberately sink it, escaping themselves so that no evidence is left behind. Before 2008, there was a law in the USA that if a narco submarine was sinking, the Coast Guard would rescue its crew, considering them as drowning people. And because the submarine would be lost thousands of meters down on the ocean floor, and all evidence would be destroyed, it was difficult to prosecute them. But after 2008, this law was changed. Still, smugglers sink submarines in such situations because they know that without evidence, arguing in court will be easier and the sentence might be reduced. This is why the fate of most narco submarines is to sink, whether they make a successful delivery or are captured. It's only in very few cases that Coast Guards have caught a narco submarine in action. But the question arises, where did the authorities get all this information about narco submarines that you are seeing in this video? In 2022, an important figure in the world of smuggling, Oscar Moreno Ricardo, was captured, who had earned the title King of Narco Submarines. He wasn't a smuggler. His basic job was the construction of these submarines. Later it was found out that Oscar had also worked transporting cocaine via speedboats in the past. But over time, he worked as a designer and engineer building excellent stealth vessels for cartels. He built vessels for large criminal groups in Mexico and Colombia. Oscar Moreno Ricardo usually lived in his secret jungle shipyard, but in January 2022, he went to the Colombian city of Medellin to crack some deal, and that's where he was arrested. In this mission, Colombia's national police and army, along with U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration officials, were involved. The arrest of master builders like Oscar is certainly a big win for law enforcement, but in reality, it is just the tip of the iceberg. Despite every successful operation, experts believe thousands of tons of cocaine are still reaching Central America and Europe from beneath the ocean's surface. Where old submarines are sunk into the depths of the ocean to destroy evidence, even now, some new genius in the dense jungles of Colombia might be working on electric, soundless, and unmanned drone submarines. The point is, as long as the demand for these drugs exists, the billion-dollar business of large cartels will keep taking different forms. What are your thoughts on this? Do let me know in the comments section. I hope you will like and share this Basic Money Explained TV video as well. See you in the next great video.